Up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We survived another report this morning with some more light news. The market's like that. We got news out of Disney last night as well. So Disney's moving a little bit on that too. And then we got Delta earnings, which they came out, predicted that they were going to be strong. They told us they were going to be strong. They were strong, and we bought it up after that anyway. So everything's still moving kind of bullish out there, but I'm more bullish on you guys than I am the stock market because we got some amazing people in the house. We got Chuck back from Maine. How was Maine, buddy? I think this is your first day back, isn't it? We got Albert in the house. Good morning. Alex, good morning. Alex Newton, good morning. Andy, Bill, Brian. We got Diane in the house. Fabrice is here. Good morning to Greg, Gilbert, Gerline, Jay, Joe, John, Kevin, Lauren, Mark, Marius. We got Martina. We got Michael, Richard, Jet, Ron. We got all my people in YouTube land. We got Rado, Daniel, Marie. Good morning. Woo! This is going to get fun. Marie says, hi, Jeremy. I wish I was Jeremy. No, this is DJ Dan. Yeah, usually I'm in on the mornings. It's all good though, because man, that's a compliment. That's a compliment. All right, let's see if we can look at the spot real quick. Chuck says plenty of good seafood. Yeah, they better have good seafood. That's what people. I don't think I've been to Maine, but I heard you got to go there for seafood. I'm also not a huge seafood guy though, so I'm like, I don't know. What do I do? Like some stuff. Like I'm very select. I don't know. Well, lobster's okay. Crab, I like crab. Stuff like that. Shrimp, awesome. Tuna, good. I could deal with like some salmon or something, but nothing crazy. Either way. What is crazy is so yesterday CPI comes out. It was a retest gap. Let's see if we can find something that looks like this. I don't know if we have it on the SPY, but there's definitely individual stocks that have these same type of gaps that we've had recently. Something like this, maybe. Kind of, not really. So here's a little gap up. This is technically a gap and go though, and then we have another gap above it. So here's your bullish day. We gap up. This one still had some bullish strength in it, where yesterday we had a little bit of a high wave indecision. I feel like I've seen this pattern somewhere. There's going to be one stock I pull up today that has this pattern, because I've been looking at this on one of these stocks for like one of the popular ones that we look at all the time. I'll find it. If anybody recognizes this from another stock, let me know. We'll pull it up. But yeah, so gap up. It is a retest gap. We didn't fly to the moon after it. We sold a little bit, but we got left with a little indecision. What are we going to do from here? Looking at the volume area, not a lot really holding us back. Probably the next spot, 448.48. Chuck says ZS. All right, let's take a look at ZS. Oh, that's on your list. Okay. I thought that was I thought you found the one that looks the same. There's one of them. Maybe it's Meta. We'll see. We'll check Meta too. It might be Meta, but one of them is like exactly the same. So we'll have to see. But indecision, this is telling me we're going to remain bullish again. 448 and change. That's at least where the volume starts dying down. So we're just kind of gapping into that, and then we throw in a engulfing candle today. I don't know. I don't think so. Everything right now tells me bullish. So I think I have a better shot. And let's just put it this way. I'd rather lose money going bullish than bearish. I could lose on either way, but I'd be like more sad, I think, if I lose on a bearish play than a bullish play. I think that's a good way to sum that up. So we'll see what happens. But do I think we get some kind of a pullback at open? I do. I do think we probably want to pull back a little bit, even though this is technically just a one. This is the one where we can almost kind of repaint this candle green. If I'm going just with this candle, yeah, it's a gap and go. But is that candle really bearish? I mean, we're at 52-week highs during this entire candle. We didn't even come back for a full-on retest. Is that a really bearish candle? I don't think so. So there's some bulls in here. We might get some selling, which will give us some decent setups at open. And maybe we can get down to that developing VPOC from yesterday. That was 446.80. We could get a little more selling. That would take us to yesterday's actual VPOC of 446.19. And then we kind of run it up from there. But we'll see what happens. Q's already repainted its own picture. So yeah, that's more like what the candle should look like. But obviously that's green because we did close actually a little bit higher than we opened. Significantly a little bit different based on where that candle is. So the SPY, we're like way up here already. Q's, this is really our first time kind of breaking out. So I think we do. It was a good close, kind of almost double top-ish. Again, I think we had obviously now 3 days of buying. We're going into 4. Some type of pullback could make sense before we go, but yeah, I think all cylinders are still firing off in a bullish direction. So Chuck wants to take a look at ZS, which is Zscaler. That's a pretty bearish candle close that we had yesterday. So we're gapping up from this point. I would look for continuation to the downside on this one, but I think you're going to get a little bit more chop. So this one is inside day still. You are gapping up. It is technically a gap and go, but all of those bears in there tell me probably not. If you're going to try to play the trend and see if there's continuation, see if you can get some kind of a bounce, and maybe it's already done in a pre-market, but 441.16, that would be the spot that I would try. If we get a little bit higher, next spot to go short would be 143.83. But what I think could make this a little bit of a challenge is all of those moving averages are creeping in. So you're going to have all of that now coming in support to the higher side. If you want to go bullish on this thing, you got some more moving averages up there, probably causing a little bit of a chop. The bulls really don't want this candle to break and have that continuation and just kind of free flow down. The bears really don't want these candles to break higher. So I would expect some kind of chop on this one for a while. CNK. Ron says CNK high short float bear retest could trap some bears. You're at a little bit of support. Short, I wouldn't. If it gets going, at this point, I don't think you're trapping anybody. This was definitely bullish sentiment at open yesterday, and this was a retest candle. We did retest it, which is fine, but the next day I would expect this one to gap up a little higher. Even if this was an inside day, that would give me a little more momentum. So the fact that we're gapping down, I do think this is some type of retest gap, and you are at a little bit of support. Again, maybe pre-market we already hit this 1590 or maybe even 1582, something like that. If we did, okay, that could be the bounce spot for this one. But I don't think we're gonna click on the short squeeze yet, because anybody that stayed in this one. So if you were bearish and you were able to stay into this one, it looks like the bears jumped in, clobbered it down, and you're like, oh, man, that was a close one. But I don't think you're squeezing anybody as of yet. So I don't know if that's going to be the most fun one to trade. The only thing I would say it does have going for it right now is maybe this is a bounce spot. There was some type of bullish sentiment. So some of the bears might be profitable and say, okay, I did survive that candle yesterday. I'm actually glad I hung in there, made a little bit more. Let's take profits. And maybe you do get a little reversal at that support. So could be one to watch, but I don't think the short squeeze is going to take effect yet. Lou says, hey, Dan, what do you think about Pepsi? Yeah, I was looking at that one, and then I looked at Coca-Cola as well for sympathy. We'll take a look at both. That is a nice gap on Pepsi. Usually doesn't move too much. I mean, here's a big candle from them, and that one moves 183 by 186. So almost, it was not even quite. I rounded some of those numbers, so almost $3 on this candle, and we're already gapping up $4.30. So we've already had a big move on Pepsi, but you're not going to get there's not a huge short float on Pepsi by any stretch of the imagination. So you're not going to have that kind of help us work. But if we can get a little bit of a pullback, we might be able to take a trade on Pepsi. We'll add this one to the list. It does. What I like the most on it, and I don't know if it's going to happen today or not. As a swing trade, yes, I think probably 190.77 is definitely in the range for it. But we've already gapped pretty much more than this thing runs typically. So let's see if we can get a little pullback. If we do, and we could take some kind of a break, I like this price that we're at now if we're taking a breakout. So if we can get a pullback, we can get in somewhere around this 187.55-ish. What I like the most on it is really the next stop is there's nothing really in the way till this 190.77 zone. So it does have good range on it in terms of where I could go. It doesn't get there today, and that would be my question, as it's already kind of put in a decent move. But if the markets are bullish, everything's bullish, they survived the earnings report, we're breaking above a pretty nice pivot spot. But will it have that momentum? It's going to trade differently than a tech stock, where tech just, as soon as it breaks, goes nuts. So it's one to watch. I do like it bullish. I just don't know if today it will be able to, but I put it to the top of the list. We're going to check it out. Snow could be interesting. It does have a little bit of resistance. It is a gap and go, coming off of a retest gap yesterday. So there was bullish sentiment 3 days ago, 2 days ago. Even though this is a red candle, technically there was bullish sentiment at an open. We retested. We took profit at resistance. Now we're already kind of breaking that resistance. Yeah, this one might have the ability to push. It does. It does have a little bit of resistance ahead of it. We've seen CRM start to squeeze out as well. So CRM's moving. Tesla's gapping up today. A lot of things are moving higher, and Snow, I think, is leaning a little bit to the bullish side. Let's see at open though. So this is going to be, let's throw one little downtrends. Yeah, that would look decent. We gapped out. This was the retest into that downtrend. I like Snow a lot. Target on it probably be about 183.40. I'd want to be at, so we'd have to design a trade to get there. Let's throw a quick little target here. Let's go a little bit before that, front run some of those numbers. And let's just throw this as my target. Just so I know when I take the trade, if I take the trade, that's kind of where I have to, and it doesn't have to stop there, but that's a spot I definitely want to look at and consider. Depends on what this rest of this market does want to do today. When it was so much for rug pull, more like ripping the roof off. Yeah, there's we're back to 2020. We're back to 2020. None of the valuations matter anymore. Any of the pullbacks that we get are being bought up. There's a ton of money on the sideline. And as we start to run, we start making big moves because there's FOMO all over the place. Technicals are backwards. It just, yeah, when in doubt, just buy things. And then you make money and then you sell things. Maybe you don't even sell them. You just hold them forever until the next market crash. That's all. Lyra says Netflix. Marie says all the markets look green today. That they do. Michael wants to take a look at Delta. Pepsi looks to have trapped. Yep, we went through Tesla. Pepsi. And then we got Amazon as well. We'll start with Amazon. Take a look at that one. The zone. Nice gap up. Because why wouldn't it gap up? You're starting to get it. I mean, there's still very low liquidity here. I think there's definitely still a path to Amazon to hit. Probably about 140 would be my target. So there's definitely some room on here. Yeah, this is they didn't even let you play in here. They stalled out at the last kind of volume node, and then we get a gap up past it. So you are still going to be starting to run into volume, but really the volume doesn't really kick in until about 140. So I think that would be my target. Let's get Amazon a lot higher on this list as well. This is one where I would have to see some kind of a pullback. So give me some kind of red candle that opens, some kind of setup, and then we'll take the break. We'll get better risk to reward. I don't know how strong some of these levels are going to be going higher. I think in a slightly longer term basis, that 140 could hit. Again, it is a pretty good gap on a retest. So I'm going to let that one retest, but it does look good for continuation. But I think buy the dip on that one. Amazon jumped $3. Yep. Netflix, yeah. So Netflix was a little bit of a gap and go at least this morning. Let's see if it still is. It is, and again, might be one of my favorites. We did have a little bit of selling up here before, but we are trending bullish. This is our third day in a row with a higher VPOC. Yesterday's VPOC got to close essentially at a double top location. We're above all of that right now. It would make sense if we come back. 444.24 would be an outstanding price. I don't know if we have to get there. Let me just see if there's any other volume in the way. There's legitimately nothing. There's nothing in the way. The first spot that could give us, like, what do we do from here? 456.25. Yeah, I'm gonna put that pretty high on my list. Play that continuation. It's not an over-exaggerated gap like some of the earnings plays had, and we'll go from there. We'll see. I think we could get some continuation. And again, if I lose on it going bullish, I just don't care. I just don't care. I think that's my best opportunity. If you want to take my R's going bullish in this market, that's fine. I'm cool with it. All right, we got Delta. So they reported again. They had they told us, they legitimately told us we're gonna have some good earnings. People believed them here. They followed through on their promise. They don't lie. They're not liars. And they came out with good earnings, and we're gonna buy it up anyway. So no profit taking whatsoever. We're about 25 cents away from $50. $50 is going to be a psychological hold number, though. So we might get some selling in this zone. And we've had this run up. Again, this is a gap and go. This is one where I probably just can't go bullish without a pullback after that type of run. So let's see if buy the rumor, sell the news plays on Delta today. I really don't want to be bearish on it, especially in this market. There it is. But if it comes back down, I could buy it. It was at least, I mean, we're trapping any bears here. That was a pretty strong bearish close. There's no wick, no nothing at the bottom. But even where we closed, we're still in that little sideways trend. All the moving averages below us. We're pretty far extended. Lots of bulls have been buying it into it. So how many people are really trapped on this gap and go? I would have to question that. And yeah, we even get into a little bit of a higher end pivot over here. If we do run bullish, I think 50-54 would be the spot if we could break through that $50 mark. But it's one of those things. It's I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it. In a normal market, this should sell off and fade. In this market, $100, I guess. We'll see. They're not liars, they're flyers. Why is that already not Delta's tagline? Like, that should be on every Delta napkin they give you, although they probably charge you $5 for the napkin. In fact, if I'm going to pay $5 for a napkin, it better say that. We definitely have some more room on Meta to stay bullish. this again would be technically a retest gap. So out of the gate, whether if this thing wants to just explode without me, fine, so be it. I'll miss it. 322 would be my target, maybe a little bit lower. No, about 322 would be my target for the day. That would give us a lot of room. Could we probably, even if we take 319.24 as our target, we could still make a lot of money on this thing. But it is a retest gap. So again, let's put Meta up there. We want some kind of selling. Profit taken to some extent. And then I think we got some more room to run. We'll see. Ron says fast and PGR. Fast and PGR. So fast, what is this? Fastenal? That sounds like some kind of a medicine. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like some bathroom medicine. This one is a little bit of a gap down. This one's a retest gap, but that location of the gap is actually below certain VPOC. Definitely some volume. Was this on earnings? Did they miss? How does a company in this atmosphere miss earnings? This is earnings per share miss, and then surprise miss of 5 million. There was some shorts coming into this thing already yesterday. I think we are trapping some people. Probably this one will see if you can get bought up a little bit at open, and then this one should fade, I think, lower. See if you can get closer to like 57, 69, come back to that zone. Again, we've seen everything where it's like just buy anything and it will go higher. So I'm cautious on shorts, but this one does look like it's breaking a decent pivot. PGR. Ron's like in the gap downs today. And this one definitely qualifies. You should be trapping a decent amount of people. So under a couple pivots, this is a retest gap though. If we do sell lower, probably the end of the cycle or where we get a strong bounce would be 122.86. If you want to try to get in short, first spot I'd be looking is 120. I wouldn't be throwing an order at 126.11 unless we have some kind of candles. Otherwise, 126.95 would be a better spot to attempt. But hopefully this one kind of acts as a retest. That should give you the opportunity to get in. And then maybe you could roll this thing down to 122.77. Progressive. Their shares aren't moving too progressively today. But that is quite the gap down. Both earnings today, yep. It's a fastener supplier. It's like The Office. Like imagine working in a fastener supplier company. The excitement and thrill. I heard Flo quit. She quit? She's done? She had a good run. But then they started bringing like new flows in. Like there's now like they really tried to develop the Flo character. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but now she got like Flo friends. She hangs out, goes to barbecues with other progressive spokespeople. She's got quite the life. All right, we got Disney. So Bob Iger signs back in for 2 more years, extends his contract. We will have to watch this. I kind of do like it bullish. I think we can get some momentum from it. We got very, very good support down here. I can't take this one, I don't think, out of the gate. But I have to watch this $90.65 level. If we can start breaking that, that will give us our next little target up to 91.51. Let's see if we get a little pullback on this one. A little pullback. I think CNBC did like a full hour interview with Bob Iger, and they had like smoke machines and then an American flag drop behind them and sparklers were going off. It was crazy. So, but up until this point, I mean, he's been there for, I forget when he signed back on. I think he's been there now for a year or two, and the stock hasn't really performed. So we should celebrate. We should celebrate Bob Iger coming back. But it is a nice little gap, and again, that's the spot that I gotta watch. I'm gonna put Disney on. I think at least we'll get some volatility on, and maybe we can make some money on it. So we'll see. I'll give this one a minute or two out of the gate, see if we get a little pullback, or if we want to start breaking this almost immediately. And then targets for me would be 91.50. So can make slightly under $1 if we don't get a pullback. We'll see what happens there. Best commercials ever. Past is no indication of future performance. Apparently it is. You just get another 2-year contract at the Diz. So I don't know. Lurkin says, love your stream. Thank you. I love having you here. That's crazy. That's crazy. We both love things. All right, we got NVIDIA. Nice little gap up again. This little retest gap. So let's see if we can get a little pullback on NVIDIA first, but there's zero, like nothing in the way. Kramer was on CNBC yesterday, and he was going crazy. He's like, if you doubted NVIDIA, who do you even think you are? If you're an analyst and you said NVIDIA was the worst, you should be fired today. And I'm like, Kramer, you have like a 12% win ratio. Just tone it back a little bit, Kramer. But this is a breakout candle yesterday. Good looking close. Again, let's see if we can get the fade on this one, but there's nothing in the way. Nothing on NVIDIA stopping us from going higher. So if we can get some red candles, indecision, high waves, anything like that I could take a break of, let's attempt that one. We got Coinbase. I got 2 minutes left. Let's see. We got Coin's just kind of sitting out pre-market inside day. It's almost a 3-bar play. There's your breakout, but 3-bar play would be if you take the break here. So 89.29 will be your entry. Throw your stops at about 84.39. I just see everything popping real quick on my side chart. I'm giving my charts the side eye. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna move it out me on everything. Carvana, is that CVNA? Carvana, yeah, strong move that we've had already. I think the apes got a hold of this one at this point, and they're going to probably try to push this thing higher. But a little bit of a gap down today at some kind of support. This one I think fades up higher. Look for that 37.40 as your target. Let me see if I can get one more in here. CAVA. We got gap up. This is a retest gap. The Kava group. See if this one fades down lower. I wouldn't be buying it here. I don't know exactly what Kava does, but they're like fun to say at least. All they were missing were puppies and babies and good old Bob. Yeah, no, they just ran out of time in the hour segment on CNBC. So they couldn't get the puppies in. They were close, but they were definitely rooting for them. AMD. Where's the there it is. So AMD, that looks like a decent long as well. So I'm going to get that on the list. Both NVIDIA and AMD look good. NVIDIA, I just don't have any targets on, but we could probably get to 118.46 on AMD today. I got 37 seconds. Let's see if we can get one more in here. It's the lightning round. We got pins. PINS. Kind of inside day right now, so only gapping a penny. Maybe we get some continuation. Very nice candle. Oh, I'm going to get 2 in. We got Roblox with 18 seconds left. The Roblo looks a little bit like Carvana, to be honest. So there's your breakout candle inside day. See if we get a little bit of a pullback into the 43.63 zone. Otherwise, you can almost play this. Take a break of yesterday's high. Stop could be the low of yesterday, and you should be good with that. But just fitted in. We got there right in time. Unfortunately, YouTube land, I got to cut the stream. You guys are incredible. Check out reallifetrading.com. We have the all access pass. You can trade with us all day from 9 till 6. Keep that in mind as well. You don't have to leave, but